And we're live. And good morning, everybody out there in TV land. Welcome back to another RSG lunch hour. I am your host, Ranger J 1999. And as you can see from the window, we've got a lot of people joining me today. But we are glad to have you guys here on this wonderful Thursday, wherever you are out there, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, whether you're just getting ready for work, whether you're at work and getting ready to enjoy your lunch, or you're getting ready to drive home and you need something to listen to. We are that entertainment for you. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do like we always do. I'm going to suffer through my depression. Then we're going to do a Ross review. And then we're going to do your questions. And if you have a question that you would like to pose to us, all you need to do is put your question into chat. Make sure you put question in front of your statement so we can get it scooped up. And then we will get rock and roll and get to all the questions. Also, make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And then as a note, after this stream, we're going to go right into GAC. It's time for Cabber. It's time for me to finish what I started and go into Cabber. That's how we do it. We'll see right after this stream. So be prepared. Best way to know is be subbed on the channel so you can see my Cabberness. So we'll go into that right after this lunch stream. So we're going to kind of keep to a timetable here. And then, yeah, so that should be a lot of fun. What else is there? Oh yeah, everyone say hello in chat. We'd like to shout out everybody in chat, so make sure you whip out your pickles, do what it is you want to do, say hello. You can do a super chat, you can do some sound bits from over on, if you're sub on our Twitch channel. You can do all that fun stuff just to say hi, whip out your pickles, use it, whatever emojis you are if you're a sponsor, that's how it works. Alright, that being said, let's introduce everybody that's here with us today. We've got Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman, the Troll Extraordinaire.
Everyone is mad at me.
Why? What'd you do?
Apparently, me being me yesterday got everyone mad at me.
Oh, tell them to kiss your ass.
I don't want people's lips down there.
It's a euphemism there. It's a metaphor, Finn, for basically telling them to go to hell.
I don't want people going to hell.
See, this is the problem. This is what people really hate you for, Finn. You're too wishy-washy. You're the Charlie Brown of RSG. You know that? Did you mean what you said yesterday? You mean what
I don't like kicking football.
Did you mean what you said yesterday?
Did I mean what I said yesterday?
Yes. Yeah. Then why do you care what they think?
Everyone's angry.
Charlie Brown. That's it. Charlie Brown. So he didn't really mean what he meant yesterday. He's wishy-washy. I'm going to shave Finn's head off and put that little curly Q one hair in the front, and then we'll have a Bollywood version of Charlie Brown for you. I wonder if we could do that, Finn. Do you think that's something we could do? Is get you a Charlie Brown, like, bald head with the one curly Q? We got Julie Andrews.
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Maybe if I'm older and I bald.
Deadpool Kyle just donated $10. Says, am I doing this right? Hello in chat. Well, there he is. DPK in the hizzy. He played some Don't Starve with us the other day. Did pretty well, actually. Also joining us from his own channel, Xylo from Takedown Games. We've got Stoner Jedi himself, Xylo Takedown.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on, y'all?
And then we've also got the lovely Algie Dumpling. Hello, Algie.
Hello.
Are you mad at Finn?
No.
So then, I don't know. Finn's he doesn't make
Finn's
sense.
my guild leader, remember? So
Yeah.
I can't.
But he's also your friend.
Yes.
See, so
I would like to be Finn's friend.
When it's hard to be friends with Finn.
He's very busy.
No, he just wants to be friends with inanimate objects that are stuffed and look like porgs and baby Yodas. So
he is friends with Julie Andrews.
that's true. He is very much friends with Julie Andrews. So, but yesterday, if you guys missed it, we had an incredibly funny Wednesday night stream. Algie, you watched the stream. How do you think we did yesterday? You didn't watch it, didn't you?
I watched part of it.
Oh my god.
Urza was on last night, so.
Need to say no more, Algie. My heart breaketh again.
Sorry.
That's right.
Sorry.
Does Urz let you come on his stream and talk like this? Yeah.
No, you know he rides solo unless it's
I know.
Cubs or Clash.
Yeah.
Because Clash got to be on once.
Yeah. Zalo, I know you missed it because you came in late, so damn it. You know what?
I watched the replay though. I watched the replay last night.
How'd you think we did? Did good?
Oh, hilarious as always, man.
Oh, thank
I
you.
mean, And then, you know what I mean, like the bid on the raid tickets. Yeah, I mean, like I think the week before show was even better, of course. But I mean, like the bid on the raid tickets, of course, was hilarious.
Yes.
And the Julie Andrews skit.
Yes, Julie Andrews and Kermit were fantastic.
I'll
On
tell you
fire,
what.
yeah.
I'll tell you what else is hilarious. This morning, while I was driving my kid to school, I decided to put on Heinz's Harpoons and Beer stream
Mm-hmm.
because he
It's
was
a great
doing his GAC, and because they're on the opposite side of the planet, so they're doing their night is our
Mhm.
day,
Right.
and it was so much fun. I really encourage everybody to go check that out. It
I've
was
always watched
so
the
fun.
replays and stuff, but I can't catch it live. It's too early in the morning. Sometimes it's at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. I'm like, good
Well, yeah.
Lord, you know. But yeah, we've
Yeah,
actually
that's
done
when
it.
I'm
We've
finally
done.
getting to go to
Me
sleep.
and
Yeah.
Grande did our fight on his channel, so you know.
Yes, I watched that.
Yeah, so we've known those guys for a long time. The ANZGC Guild is a great guild, and I know a lot of people there. They're really great folks and really wonderful people. Also joining us, the other name you see is our good friend Zombie Texas 7469, aka
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Michael Thompson. He's not just a Laker. He plays he plays Star Wars Galaxy Heroes.
I'm impressed you know he was a Laker.
You'd be impressed with a lot of things that I know. And on the screen, I'm just doing the event real quick, the Scoundrel event, so I can get some stuff for slashing, so I can make it more miserable. But we're glad to have you here, Zombie. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks
And,
for having me.
Yeah, we're doing your Ross review today, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Be gentle.
No. Do you really want
I'm
us to be
very
gentle?
sorry. I'm very sorry.
We can't do it. We have to, but we're always gentle. We're nice. We may tell you to do some things, and we may not like some things, but we're always nice. We're never.
I'm pretty
Welcome to Thunderdome.
Yes, 2 men enter, 1 may leave. Remember, if you break the deal, you spin the wheel. So all right. So let's say hi, everybody, all the boys and girls, all the skewers. Again, thank you DPK for the $10. And to tell Lady Pool, we say thank you for letting you have some time on Tuesday to play Don't Starve with us. It was a lot of fun. Revenator is the first one here. He says, question, did you get enough of Turtle Twins questions last night, or would you enjoy more? No, I don't want any more. I gave you a free pass, and then you trolled me by not asking me any Turtle Twins questions. So, but yes, we did hit and blew the goal out of the water, so I will be doing a lore video on the Turtle Twins. I've already started it. Yeah, I've got 2 lore videos I'm working on, so there you go. You guys will have those coming soon. So I'm going to record them, put a basic image on there, and then, like I always do, and then if Finn wants to do any bells and whistles, he can. All right. Foreigner says, hello there, skewers, and at Ranger, typo of Thurzo in the title. Not sure if it was intentional. Is it? Oh,
It says
is.
Dust Day.
Can you fix that, Finn? I'm kind of makes it be hard. If I
All
try to do
right.
it. Yeah.
I kind of
Did
like
autocorrect do that? I always hit autocorrect. I wonder why it did that. Thus day.
It's Dust Day.
Hey,
Is
it's
the day
also
of dust.
2/20/2020
It's a what?
today. Today is 2/20/2020.
Oh my God, you're right, Ouchie. The stars have lined up for my day of carbonus, Ouchie. You ready?
The correct answer is no.
No, she's not. You just says, happy Thursday, Hope. Hope is jumping, hopping today, and you are all well. Well, thank you, Utah. Dr. Feelgood, he's the one that makes you feel all right, says, happy Thursday, Skewer Nation. Darth Vader 87 says, good morning. Utah says, oh, there's an out sighting. Yes, there is. And if you guys beg her enough, maybe she'll make an appearance and wow you with her beauty. But if not,
I was
then
going to say, I don't think you can see me.
no. But they can hear you.
Nope, just Durgan.
Yeah, Durgan, that's all he needs. Let's see here. Makwa says, hello, everyone. Glad to have you here, Makwa. McHealth19 says, morning to you, my friend. Recline says, rework Windu. God damn it, Recline, you are right. Welcome to the channel. The first time I've seen your name here that I can remember. So, welcome, and they do need to rework Windu. God damn it. Grim's listening from work again. Busy week. Well, that's good. Grim's getting them hours, so he needs it. Matt Bailey with his wonderful greeting says, gracious good morning, gentlemen. Thank you. And ladies, because he forgot to add the lady. Let's see here. Gino says, hello there, skewers. Hello there. Deadpool Kyle says DPK checking in, and we already know he is because he gave that nice donation and super chat. Grande Verga says hello in chat. Dr. Buck FU says, is it Friday yet? No, not quite. We're almost there. Almost there. Just a little further. Nobunaga says, hi, skewers. The weekend is in sight if you celebrate such things. I think we all do. Wolfell says, hi, happy Cabra Day. Happy Cabra Day to you, my friend Wolfell. Let's see here. Matt Bailey says, hi, Finn. I missed yesterday, so I'm not mad at you. So there you go. There's a couple people that are not mad at you, Finn. So there you go.
Yeah.
And heard. Well, true. Yuta says, we need more Finn rants. I agree. Grande Verga says, Ian. Okay. I don't know why, but he said Ian. Darcy 1972 here says, happy Thursday. Hermit Frogram's here. He says, I got a rock for Halloween. I blame Finn. Stupid Finn. Why did that happen? Dumb Finn. Rooster says, hello there, DPK and everyone else. Yeah. Angel Chiss says, what's up? And Hideous says, hey girl to Julie. Revenue says, why are people mad at Finn? A lot of people, I'm like, I don't know. I think Finn's just making that crap up. Tori Jack says, what's up, RSG? Glad to have you here, TJ. Let's see. Gav P says, hey, RSG peeps, peace, love, and pickles to all the skewers out there. Oh my God, look at all those pickles. He's really stroking the Wookiee, the pickles, the love, the everything. Oh, good Lord. Jason also says, WTF, no one yells at Finn except Ranger and everyone in the guild. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's scientifically proven, but
no, I blame Finn as a universal.
Yeah, it's a universal thing. RSG Vormix says, hola, skewers. Oh, that's a question. We'll get your question here in a little bit, RSG Vormix. But we're glad to have you here, my friend. Matt Bailey just starts laughing. TilaMan92 says, what it do, RSG? What it do with you, homie? All right, who else we got in here? Let's see here. What else is 73's here? And an update. It says, bust a deal, face the will. Damn right. Pale L888 says, oh, that's a question, but I'll go ahead and get this one. It says, how do you schedule a roster review? We will cover that after the roster review, Pale L, but it's pretty simple. You just message Finity. We'll go through the details. You don't have to do anything else. Just message Finn. We'll give you all the details after the roster review, and then we'll get you into the queue. Who the Hut says, morning, RSG. Glad to have you here. Buzzsaw VG says, thus Finn comes to the rescue. Well, that's what Finn does, too. Dobby showed up and is here with Harry Potter and has a question. We'll get to those later because he's a free elf. Clone Troop 211 says, good afternoon, all driving to my jobs and listening through the radio. Well, that's all right. No, too late, Bailey. Too late, but he did say, oh crap, I forgot Ouchie. Gracious good morning, ladies, as well. That's all right. He did correct his mistake there, Ouchie. Let's see here. Andrew Coulters here says, hello, only one more day till Clone Wars Season 7. I know. I'm ready to go. I've got my Disney Prime ready. I'm watching all of it. I can't wait.
Yeah. So pumped.
It's very much a Cabra thing. Slashrin Rhodes is here. Thank you, Slashrin Rhodes. And is there anybody else? Yes, no, maybe so. I'm just looking. I think we got everybody that I can see so far. I'll try to shout you out as we go along. But if not, if you just watch the lunch stream and participate every day, I eventually will shout out your name, especially if you say hello. And to all the skewers, we're one big La Familia here, and we like to say everything. There's James L. Mahoney. Well, look at all that pickle hype. Oh, my God. He's not dicking around. He's got a lot of pickle hype going on. All right. Oh, I have to put this on auto. Because I want to get the mods that come from this event, so then we can roll them, and then I can suffer through more mod depression. And then, oh my God, James Mahoney with more pickle hype. I blame Finn, RSG, the ACS pink ribbons for our fighting pediatric cancer, and Boo-filled baby rangers. Let's see. Revenue. What is Disney Prime? Did Ranger combine Disney Prime and Zen Prime into one entity? You know, they're kind of all running together for me now. Anna Wilson, do you know if the whole season of Clone Wars will come at once or slow drip episodes? I think it's slow drip episodes. Am I wrong on that, Finn? It's going to be one.
It's going to be slow drip, yeah.
I'm not sure, but yeah, I think Disney is going the way of the slow drip, not the binge.
Yeah.
They're just like doing that to like make up for the lack of content, right? Like they're
right
putting
for
out
right now,
so much slow stuff at a time.
We know the new Obi-Wan thing is happening. It's had a little bit of a snag, but it's still coming. We also know that Mandalorian Season 2 will be coming. What else are they working on? They're working on a lot of crap. So
A lot of Marvel stuff.
yeah, a lot of Marvel stuff. So I'm interested in that. So it's fine. I've got other stuff that I can watch right now. There's some Picard, Doctor Who's going on right now. Picard, which I absolutely adore and love, is going on right now. That comes on tonight. It's probably out today. I have to go watch it, and I've been loving it. So there's some animes I've been trying to catch up on, but I hardly ever have time to watch, so I always have to binge. No, I'm a binger, so I must have my binge. Oh, Cassian Andor show. That's right. Good call, Skewers. Skewers are on top.
Oh
of it.
yeah, Cassian. Yeah,
I'll
get that, man. It's been in the
that.
works
I'm
for a while.
interested. Yeah, KTSO and Cassian. Can't wait to see it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me check the store real quick. Is there any mods that I want out of here before we go rolling our mods and suffering through mod depression? I'm not seeing anything that's tickling my fancy. I'm not spending on blues and purples. Nope. All right, let's get through the mod depression. That's right, folks. This is where Ranger J 1999, being the mongrel idiot that he is, thinks that he can actually roll something on mods, and it never turns out that he hits anything. But, well, not never, because I've hit 120 speed that we hit, and it was a great day. We all cried. We all held each other. So let's go through and roll these mods, and then we'll do some slicing. So let's do these health mods that just came up. We'll go through and check all these. Let's see, we have one that has 3 speed. All right, we're going to go max roll on this sucker. Let's see if we can get... Okay, so no, not a damn thing. It's a 3-speed mod that I just rolled and wasted credits on because it didn't hit anything. So that's going to go in the sell pile. So this is going off well. Depression's starting off very well today. All right, let's go to the next one. Creative Avoidance. Now these are only going to go to roll to 3 just because I want to see if there's a stat there. Nope, defense. Man, oh man. Here we go. It begins. Depression is strong. All right, so far we're 0 for 2. 0 for 3, really. Oh, this has speed on it, so let's go for it. No, it hit nothing. 3 speed again. That didn't hit anything. Man, the depression is strong today. Good God and gravy. I swear. Nope, another miss. Next one. Nope, another miss. And finally one more. Another miss on the purples.
That's kind of that's bad.
This is
bad.
This is a bad day of depression now, Chief. The fans are loving it, but I'm slowly dying a little bit each time this happens because the law defense is hitting 2, and that just makes me angry. All right, let's go to the blues. Jesus.
I got quite a few with 5 speed to start out with, and none of them rolled.
I know. CG.
And I had one with 3 speed that went to like 8 or something.
Yeah, that's even worse. That's more defense. Hey, I mean, if we're going to roll depression, this is the day to do it. I mean, this is awful. More defense. Oh my God, these mods are just poop. There's a lot of poop going on today. Good Lord. All right, we hit a 5 speed. We'll go max because I'm going to see if I can hit another speed. Ooh, we finally got one. We may slice that one, so we'll come back to that. I got to 11. That's all right. We have another 5 speed. Let's see if it can hit to 11. I'm not going to hold my breath, bro, on this one. But it is still 5, so we'll keep it because it has a potential to hit 20. All right, let's find
you could slice that one.
Yeah, let me find that one that hit. Let's see, was it a cross? What was the one that I just hit? Let's sort by speed. That'll make it easier to find that green one. We're going to slice that, and then we'll call it a day. All right, so I got... No, those are all 4. Let's see, where are you? Where are you? Oh, there you are. No, it's 8 speed. Another one slice. It should be higher up then. Okay. There you are. There's that 11 speed. All right, let's slice it. We're going to get the materials, and we're going to go for it. We're going for it, Ouchie girl. All right, here we go. We'll get the materials. All right. We've got the materials. Here we go for the slice. Let's see if we can hit it. We can hit more speed, Ouchie.
Speed.
Come on. Don't screw me.
Speed.
Protection.
Boo.
I how to get off monster. I go back and sell all this crap. Well, that didn't go well. Well, depression. That was a lot of depression today, folks. Shit. All right. Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to sell all this crap. And then we are going to go do something that makes me feel better about myself. Oh, boy. Damn it. All right, we're going to do our roster review because after doing that nonsense, I need to do something that makes me feel better about my life. And, of course, we already mentioned it, but we are doing Zombie 7469s. Come on down. You're the next contestant in roster review. And let's shout out your guild here real quick. Dark Lords Blue Squadron 701st. So shout out to your guild. Now, Zombie, I'm going to read what you wrote. If there's anything that changed since you added this, let me know. But we're going to go through what you said. And if you have any questions, just ask them away, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let's see. You wrote initially. He says, "Dear Ranger, you're the greatest thing ever." Well, thank you, Zombie. I appreciate that.
You are very
No,
welcome.
that's not what he said. It says, "I'm working toward gas and would like to see what you think I need to do to get it done. My current farms are Hawks for stars and gear first order team to gear 12, but I'd also like you to look at what you think my best options for defense or GAC." Okay, we can do that.
Grande's in the chat. Why isn't he in here with the Dark Lord? Wait, he's not Dark Lord
He's not
anymore.
Dark Lord, he's Maul, so we can't really hold him to that.
MC baby.
Can't hold him to that accountability.
I
like
think
we
he
used to.
still should be grandfathered in. Still should be
I
there.
mean, sure.
Come on, Grande.
The brown Gandalf Grande.
Yeah. All right, let me see here. He probably doing something like baseball practice or something. All right, so we're looking for what you need for gas. So let's start with your Phase 2 team. Look at your ships, your Phase 2 team, and then your Phase 4 team. So Kenobi and Soka are ready to go. Yeah, you're pretty much solid for making the attempt on gas. You do have Kenobi and Ahsoka Relic 3, so that's good. You've got the Zetas on the team, very good. So we're fine with Phase 2. Any more relics, you can do Padme if you really want to try to kill the event. Maybe take Kenobi to Relic 5 just so he can take more damage. Suggestions. You don't have to, but it might make it a little bit easier for you. And then let's go to your Separatists and look at where you're at there. All right. Asajj and B1 are both Relic 3. Very good. You can maybe take Jordica B2 to a Relic if you want to, but you've got the Zeta. So you're fine there in gas. We just got to wait for the event to come back, and then you'll be able to make your many, many, many attempts. I hope that you don't have to take 15 hours to get it, Zombie, but
Well, that's part of the reason I wanted the review.
Yeah.
I really don't want to do 15 hours.
if you take, like, say, Padme or Jordica or B2 to, like, Relic, it'll make the event way easier. I know Loki had a lot of his characters just Relic'd, and he went by a lot quicker. He didn't have the Zeta on Jordica. He eventually did do that, so for Phase 4. But he got through Phase 2 pretty quick, and he had all the characters, I think, Relic'd. So it gets easier the more characters you have Relic'd. But I wouldn't go crazy with the Relics, right? Just, get them Relics so they get this extra speed damage and stuff like that. But I wouldn't go past that point. And you can save the gear, see if you can do what you got right now, right? But if it gets to a point where you're like, okay, this sucks, and I don't want to do this anymore, you can Relic some of those characters. So I would hoard some of your Relic gear for that purpose. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, and I've actually been doing that. I've been, instead of, I was farming ARC Trooper, but he's only 5 stars right now. So
go get some of that scrap.
I paused that, and I've just been building up Relic stuff.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so we've got, looking at your GR, they look like they're pretty solid. You don't have Rex, but you've got 6 other ships, so you should be fine for the event. Endurance looks fine. As long as they're 40,000 GP, you should be more than fine. And you've got Ahsoka and Anakin's kind of squared away, so you should be more than fine to get past the ship phase. It shouldn't be that difficult for you. So we've got that done. So we know what we need to do for gas, right? We just got to wait for the event, hoard your stuff, and then try the event with what you got. If it gets to the point where you're just stuck, save. I'd save your relics. Try to do without it so you can use that material on other stuff, like your clone troopers and your gas when you eventually get him. How are you doing on Get 1?
I'm sitting at around a little over 10,000 right now, and my guild's doing a Hoth.
Okay, good.
We're having a lot of trouble with light side, so we've been doing that. So I'm building up a little bit more.
Okay, yeah, just keep saving that get. You need 68,400. Just save it up, man. So if you're doing Hoth and you guys are doing very well in Hoth, then you'll get a lot of get from that. So just do all the raids, do all the events that you can, get one. So yeah. All right. Let's see here. Back into there. So we know what we got for gas. We're sitting pretty good for the gas, right? Hoard your resources. Okay. So and you don't need to hoard your Zeta. It's just your resources, your gear for 12 to relic. So work on that, and that's totally fine. All right, we're going to go back into your characters, and you want to know what to use for GAC, correct? All right, so
yeah, and if you see any holes as far as Zetas, I've got 6 banked.
Yeah, we want to say
only one I've been kind of wishy-washy on. Go ahead.
No, I mean we'll look at it, but let's start hoarding for gas. And because even a 5-star, you can use your gas on offense, right, with your clones. So we may start saving for that team. Unless I see something really blinding that needs a Zeta, then maybe we'll do something about it. But yeah, let's hold off for that right now. All right, let's go by teams and kind of look at some of the teams that you can be using for GAC and where to use them. All right, your bounty hunters are pretty solid. Let's look at your boss speed. 280, that's perfect. You've got Django, you've got the other bounty hunters. This is a good team, and you are at what? You are at 4.3, so you're Division 2 upper end. Okay, so bounty hunters are a great team. I use them on the front line. Forces them to, and because of your boss speed of 280, it's going to make it difficult for a lot of people to use JTR against it, because it actually puts your boss speed at 310. Like, you want people like trying to use JTR on that. That'd be great. And you've got the 2 Zetas on there. It's a fantastic job. This is really, really good. So really good job on your bounty hunters. The other bounty hunters are a little bit less gear, but it doesn't matter. They're just there to do what they do, right? So this is really good. This is a team I always put in the front line, because I force them to use, because of the speed of my boss, a CLS or something. They can't use a JTR versus mine. He's too fast. Mine's 337. So it forced them to use like a CLS or higher team on there. And people that have tried to use something else have told me that it goes horribly wrong. Like horribly, horribly wrong. So that's a good job on your bounty hunter. So that's a frontline team. So let's go back and look at your next team. We'll go to let's look at First Order. First Order is really solid. This is the team that you should use in the back line. I don't know if you've watched a lot of my GACs, and you've seen my First Order team in the back get a lot of defense. It's not a good team to put in the front line. Too easy to counter. You want to have some teams up front that will allow you to make them burn a lot of their heavy hitting teams, so when they get to your First Order team, they're pretty much, it can get you some good solid victories if modded correctly, and yours is 262 speed, pretty solid. GTR is still a hard counter to this. If they've got it in the back, there's just nothing you can do. But if not, if they try to use something else, and it usually goes pretty horribly wrong. And I've got a lot of defense on First Order. You can also use First Order on offense if you want to, and save it for like if you're having a problem with Maliks and stuff. But I think your Sith Empire team was pretty squared away, so you don't really need to do that. Let's look at that real quick. Sith Empire team, yeah, you've got the team, the relics. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I have been watching your GACs. Used to put First Order up front and the bounty hunters in the back.
Yeah.
And I switched it, and it has worked a lot better. They're burning through their JTR trying to use for my back, and I had 50-50 at least one hold on the First Order team, and it's helped a lot more doing that.
Okay. Let's look at your Sith Empire team since we're here. This is a team you should keep for offense. Your Revan's 329 speed, that's really good. Your Bastila is at 310, perfect. So yeah, your team is just fine. Eventually we'll get Sith Marauder, so you can start pumping that into the team. But the Sith Empire team, the way you have it, is just fine for GAC. Keep it for offense. Unless they don't have like a Darth Revan or a Gas or something like that, you can put it on defense and keep all the rest of your stuff for offense. But I like to keep for offense, right? Depending on what your opponent has. If they don't have a good Darth Revan, You can put it on defense. However, a lot of times when I see that, I see people put their Darth Revan on defense, and unless your Padme can take that out, you really don't want to take that chance. So just keep it for offense. But kind of scout your opponent out and things of that nature. And if you are, it's going to go in the front line, right? We don't have gas, but let's look at your 501st. Well, actually, let's go back to your GR teams. So Padme is really good. Anakin, you probably eventually want a relic because it just makes him that much better. You've got 3PO, you've got Shock T. Your clones are, they're okay. You could use Shock T and the clones as a backline offensive team, right? Don't put them on defense because your clones aren't good enough. But if you need like a cleanup team with Shock T, she can really make your clones really good for a team in the back. Padme is great on offense. I use her on defense. This is the way I do it. I either put Padme down or I put Gas down, and keep one of those teams in my hand for defense. You can put Padme down on defense. A lot of people struggle with that. Padme's a good team on defense because they constantly are getting health and protection back. Can be countered, but if you're going to make them use a Darth Revan or something, I always have a heavy-hitting team in the front. Padme's a great one to have. I mean, Padme's great on offense. So, for instance, if their gas is weaker than mine, I always put my gas down. If they have a really strong gas, then I keep my gas just in case they put it on defense because I can take out their gas with mine. And then I'll put Padme down. One of my heavy-hitting teams goes down up front because I want to force them to use either a Darth Revan, Jedi Knight Revan, something along those lines. So, but you can use Padme for offense and defense. And I've had a lot of success with Padme on defense because it's specifically set up to be just take a lot of damage, do their thing, and make people's life miserable. And it takes a lot of banners away as well. So, so you've got two teams.
Would
there.
you say with my? Sorry, I was just gonna say with my Padme being relatively slow compared to the rest of my teams, would you say being slow it would be better on defense?
Yeah, mine is. That's what I use mine on for, and that's why she's slow. So they just go there. And
if I would say anything too, I would say like there's not as many counters to Padme, right? So putting her on defense is just a headache for your opponents, regardless whether she's in the front or in the back. I mean, like you can see Rangers put her on defense multiple times and had multiple success with her. So
just an idea. You can keep her offense or put her on defense. You know, this is one of those flexible teams. Your Separatists, let's get to this. So your Geonosians, your Grievous droid team. You do have Newt. You don't have a Zeta, but that's okay. You can go like full droids. I like to put Newt in there. You don't have a Watt, but you do have a Newt. I like Newt in there instead of Droideka. Because it makes your Grievous team a little bit more difficult. Yours is a little bit weaker, so I would definitely use, if you're going to put Grievous down, you use Grievous for offense and defense. I usually put Grievous in the back line as oh, shit, kind of thing. Like, they run into that team in the back with Newt. And you've got all the Zetas on the team, so that's really good. You've got B1 Relic as well, so that's going to make it is a great team in the back. Put him up front, he's easy just to pick apart with Jedi Knight Revan, but if he's in the back, then that makes it a nightmare. But he's great on offense too, so you can use him on there for offense, but you can use him as defense as well. Your Geonosians are great. I put them on defense. You can use them for offense. They're great at killing Night Sisters and other things like that, but I love them as a surprise team in the back. So that could be another team that you keep in the back. The big hitting teams I like to keep on offense. So your Jedi Knight Revan, your Darth Revan, eventually your gas team, those teams are really, really good. The other teams I mentioned on defense you can use for defense, but there's some like your Rebels are going to be on offense, your Resistance are going to be on offense. Let's look at yours. They're fine. The team you've got is good enough to kill any First Order team. So keep working on Watt. Watt will be a big offensive character for you. You can use him. Watt can be used on anywhere. So once you get Watt going, even at 5 stars, you can use him on offense or defense. If he's weaker and you want to be safe with him, you can use him on offense. You can put him on like a Rebel team, and they just destroy. So your Resistance is fine for offense. Your Rebel team is going to be offense. Do not put either of these teams down for defense. I've seen it here even recently. I'm like, why? Because they're too easy to counter, too easy to kill. It's just, no, don't do it. And they're just so flexible for your offensive teams. And JTR is just a straight hard counter for weak bounty hunters and for First Order that you can just use and be like, there you go. So, All right, so we've got those teams kind of squared away. It's looking pretty good. So troopers are okay. You can use them as a backline offensive clearing team. Your Sith Triumvirate, you know what you can use them for. Your Sith are really strong. Sign needs to probably go to Gear 12, so does Nihilus. Palpatine's fine. Vader is a little weak. Those will be some teams you can use. Like you use those for car teams. The Sith Triumvirate, you can put like a couple tanks on there and use that to kill the bugs. If you run into any kind of bugs, that's the team you use. You got Palpatine, Zeta, Vader's 11, but nothing else. But you can go Empire team and eventually want to get the Zeta on Vader. I think it's not his leadership, it is his unique, I think. He has 2 Zetas? Am I on crack? I think I'm on crack. Damn it. Oh, I remember. I did not take a look. Shit.
Who are you talking about?
Vader. Does he have 1 Zeta?
No, he has 2.
He has 2. He's his unique, so I'm not on crack. Okay, good.
The unique is the one that prevents the turn meter loss.
Yes. So there you go. So that's a good one to get eventually. And you use those on. Night Sisters are a great team for offense and defense. Yours are really good. I usually put them up front, force them to try to use. The good thing about the Padme up front is that either they use Darth Revan or they'll use Sith Triumvirate. That's fine. Then they're going to use one or the other on the Night Sisters, right? So then they use Sith Triumvirate against the Night Sisters, and then they get to your back line like, oh crap, Geos. And then all of a sudden your Geos become a little bit more of a pain in the ass. So there is method to the madness. So yeah. Night Sisters you can use on defense as well. And a lot of these teams that I mentioned on defense is because, they are good on offense. I like them on defense because I like some of the other teams better on offense. So your Jedi Revan, your Darth Revan, your Sith Triumvirate, your Rebels, your Resistance, right? Your Emperor Palpatine. That's 6 teams right there that you can use for hard counters against a lot of the teams that you're facing and have no problems whatsoever. Leaving the other ones on defense and still have a pretty solid defense and still have a pretty solid offense that you can use your teams on. Let's look at your scoundrels real quick. What can we use with the scoundrels? Old Republic you can use on. I always put it on defense. It's great on offense too, but I like it on defense. It's just me. Some people have a choice. Some people like First Order for offense. I like them on defense. Some people like, Old Republic on offense. I like them on defense. You can put them next to your Padme team in the North Zone or down south. It just, it's going to force them to use a team that they can't use in the back, right? And yours is really good. Zalabar Mission, there's Zeta. You've got Canderous and Karth. You've got the kit and caboodle. You got the whole. You got the works. So, so we know your team's really good. So yeah, you're going to be just fine. I'm just seeing if there's any scoundrels we do. You do have Vandor. You do have Emphas. I'm hesitant. So Emphas is really good on offense, maybe at your level. I don't know if you're still seeing Ewoks or weak teams out there still.
Every once in a while. It's almost been like when I do hold her, they're not there. When I put her on defense, sure enough, there they are in the back line.
Yeah. I like her on defense now.
Mm-hmm.
So you can
She's great at stealing banners, yeah.
Yeah. So Kira, L3, Vandor, Nest, you can go Stormtrooper Han, you can go young Lando. Stormtrooper Han's really good because it just makes it to where you're just protecting Nest and Kira to do their thing. You've got 2 tanks, so Stormtrooper Han and L3. Vandor revives. It's just a pain in the ass team and you want to put this team in the back. You do not want to put this team up front, right? Because they use a lot of stuff that they might use, like they can't use Triumvirate if they used it against your Night Sisters or something along that line. Then they get to the back and they get to this scoundrel team. They're like, Jesus, what do I do with this? So. It's a really pain in the ass team. It works really well. Yours is Gear 11. That's more than fine to put in the back line. So, with Nest. If you try to do another team, I have done the prepare team without Nest. It just didn't get as many defenses for me. Sometimes it did, but sometimes it was just like, no, it got crushed. So, all right. So that gives you some ideas for offense and defense. I kind of give you an idea of what you can use on both sides and help you out a little bit with your GAC.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's look at your mods. From what I've seen from the modding that you've done, it's really, really good. So we're just going to see overall what you have in your inventory. Usually I'd ask Finn to check, but I know Finn's not paying attention, so.
Nope.
Are you even getting
No,
Scoopy?
I have. I have. I've been looking at his mods.
Oh, what do you think?
How have you done your modding? Is my question. Like, did you do it yourself, or did you use like a Grand Ivory, or what did you?
No, I did it myself. I've kind of pieced together stuff that I've heard from, really, honestly, from y'all's stream.
Okay.
I try to pick a character that's basically an engine. You know, like with the bounty hunters, you know, I dumped a bunch of speed on Bosk. Everybody else is kind of what I had left over. You know, I try to do a particular character from a different, you know, squad, get them, you know, the ones that really need it, and then try and go accordingly with what I got left over.
Gotcha. So, is there, I guess, so I'm looking at your mods, and your mods are pretty good. They're not necessarily like optimized. Like for example, your Darth Revan team, right? Normally you put your fastest speed set on your Fallen Bastila, so that even though she will go second, she actually needs more speed in order to make sure that she goes before the opposing Fallen Bastila. Like that tends to be the more important thing. So is there a reason why you put it looks like most of your better mods on Darth Revan versus Fallen Bastila?
Remember, his Bastila is 310, so it's not like she's not modded.
He can make her faster.
Okay.
I didn't say that it wasn't bad. That's what I was saying. It's just not optimized. He could probably gain about like 6 speed or so on his Bastila. So I'm just wondering, is there a reason why, or is just the way that the mods kind of folded out? You might have sliced them.
Nah, it was more indecision and just, I don't know, kind of a, noob mistake, I guess. I had this mental thought that it would be better for Revan to be faster, but I have noticed even if their Bastila is like 1 speed, you know, faster than mine, that it makes climbing a nightmare.
Yep. So your Revan will always be faster than your okay, I guess there's 2 conditions. Your Darth Revan needs to be faster if your opposition doesn't have an auto taunt. And that's because then you can do the fear on the Darth Revan or the leader, right? And that gets fear on the entire team. That changes everything. But most teams now do have an auto taunt. If you're facing a Marauder, then it's just easy mode. But if you're facing something like a Sith Empire Trooper, or like you're using like a GBA, where the Brute comes out and auto taunts, then you need to make sure your Darth Bastila is faster. And so typically Fallen Bastila is and I said Darth Bastila. Fallen Bastila is typically the one that you're going to want to have your best speed set on. For the most part, your mods are good. I'm not too concerned about you being too far away at this point. It's just little things here and there, because that's the level you are with your tweaking, where now it's just going to be trying to get slightly faster mods here and there and speed it up. And I would probably trade off some of your mods between your Bastila and your Darth Revan, and speed up your Bastila just a little bit. Like, for example, if you just switch like the square mods between the 2, your Fallen Bastila is going to gain 2 speed right there, just by switching those 2. And there's more as I'm kind of scrolling through it. But I mean, overall, your mods are fine. It looks like you've focused them fairly well.
Yeah.
For your Grandmaster Yoda, where are you using him primarily? Are you using him on your Jedi Knight Revan team? Are you using him on your Padme team? Where are you using him?
Jedi Knight Revan.
Okay. In that case, you probably need to remod him. You focused well on speed, right? So that's like the first one. Now you can move on to offense.
He's going to get Terminator anyway.
Right. And so your Grandmaster Yoda does not need speed. And in fact, you're probably better off with him doing a offense set rather than a crit damage set. Although I'm not necessarily opposed to a crit damage set on him, but the offense set will tend to prove a little bit better for you. And make sure that your primaries on the arrow and the cross are going to be offense, and the triangle primary is a crit damage. Or if you don't have a good crit damage with like a good flat offense and % offense secondary, then you can go with offense % and go with a good flat offense as a secondary on the triangle. I'm not opposed to that. But your Grandmaster Yoda is pretty good right now in terms of where he is with gear and his usability, but his special damage is very low. You're under 5,400.
That's not gonna work.
16 right now, right? So your Grandmaster Yoda needs to be higher.
Yeah, because your Jedi Revens, you want him to be the fastest. He goes first. You mark on when you call an assist. When Yoda does his basic, he gets turn meter. So he's going to go right after your Jedi Revan 9 times out of 10, and then he's off to the races. And the harder he hits, the less turns you're having to take, because you see me use my Basilisk Jedi against Grievous all the time, and the reason it's so effective is, one, my Road is relic, but I've got a great offensive set on him, and he's one-shotting almost everything. Like, he's taking huge hits off the Grievous team each time he takes a turn, and he's getting turn meter, and and it's just you're going to call in a system a lot with all the characters, and he's going to get turn meter every time, so he's just going to take those chances. So speed's not important.
Yeah, I think I kind of nerfed him when I switched over to my Darth Revan team.
Mm-hmm.
I took most of his offense mods and put them on HK,
yeah,
and then kind of put what I had left. And by doing so, I didn't spend any real time trying to really remod them. And it's definitely hurt. When I use my Jedi Knight Revan team in GAC, it doesn't do near as well as it used to.
So the thing that I did when I looked at that, when I was making that switch, is I left the best offensive mods on Yoda. Because HK, you can put a crit damage, crit chance set on him. You can put offense on him, right? Secondary, your best secondary of those. Because HK is still going to do what HK does if he's gear 12. He's going to get those big hits in. He's going to do some damage.
Usually he's giving you a lot of excess damage, which is part of the reason why we said kind of when he came out that you don't need to worry as much about his offense. You need offense and crit damage and stuff on him. But he hits for like 300,000, 400,000, which is so much more than some of the hit points that the characters have, that really you're just over offensing him, and potentially you can make better use of other stats. So you can drop HK a bit. Grandmaster Yoda needs every piece of offense he can get. Your Han, for example, right, needs every piece of crit damage he can get, followed by offense. And you have like an offense set on Han. So potentially you can move some of your mods from Han onto Grandmaster Yoda if they're your best ones, and then focus on a crit damage with the offense secondary set for Han. Because Han really doesn't need offense. You can do offense on him, but he's actually one of the very few characters, because of how much crit chance he gets from being on a team with Chewie and getting the loyal friend buff. He's actually one of the very few characters that actually will pretty much consistently benefit more from crit damage rather than offense. So those two, you might want to like switch their mods a little bit and then play around, but your speed is doing pretty well. The characters you have focused on speed are well. I think now you can look at offense and try to get some of your offense engine characters figured out.
Someone said something about your B1. Let me go look at your B1 real quick. Let's see here.
Look at the B1?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. Speed set and crit chance?
Oh, you don't need crit chance on B1.
You don't need crit chance. Put like
B1 can't crit, so you don't need crit damage. You don't need crit chance. You just need offense. You want him to hit hard because he can't crit.
Yeah.
I guess I should read the kits a little better.
No, it's okay. Sometimes you're kind of limited on like what you have available to use. But so sometimes ideally you want a certain set, but sometimes you don't have it. Speed set's fine on B1 because you want him taking turns.
You can also do like potency or tenacity too, like to make him resist debuffs or to land the target locks, right?
But he doesn't get a lot of those benefits for like protection and stuff like that because he doesn't have any. So you focus on other things like Zella just said. So there's some stuff you can switch on your mods, but overall you're in a great spot. You're in a great spot for gas. You'll get gas, and then once you do that, you can just start working on, if you can get them without having to do any relics on, say, Padme, or like on Phase 14 with like B2 or something, all the better for you. If you have to, you have to. But then once you get gas, then it's all about gas, right? It's all about gas and the clones. Work on that team next. Pretty straightforward. Forget about Galactic Legends.
I'll be honest. When gas first came out, I thought I just never could get them, and I accidentally over time up the team trying to get my teams together. And if I get a Galactic Legend 20 years from now, fine. But I'm not even worried about that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, no reason to be worried about the Galactic Legends right now.
All right. So that's kind of our review of your stuff that you wanted. Is there any other questions you have for us, my friend?
The only other question I got my Stark, some speed mods on him. trying to get him really high. I was wondering, because the troopers just aren't what they used to be, if I would be better off. I just use them for cleanup. If I'd be better off to these some of my better, I wouldn't say best, but some decent speed mods, I'd be better off just pulling those off and put them on somebody else, or keeping them at the speed he's at.
Well, you can keep him at the speed he's at. The problem is that your other troopers are not. So the difference between your team and my team is that I'm a little bit faster than my Stark, but my trooper, snow trooper, death trooper, Veers, they're all gear 12 and have the bayonets and stuff on them. So my hit way harder than yours do, and that's the problem with your troopers, is that they're just not going to hit as hard. You know, you're facing teams that don't have as much gear, say, as some of the people I do, but the troopers are basically there to like, if they have a weak bounty hunter team, Ewok team, something along those lines, like even first order team. If I see weak first order, I'm like, yeah, because you just get that death ball going with those 5 characters, and then you're going to win. You see me do it all the time in GAC. But yours are not quite there. Stark's fine where speed is at, but they're only gear 11, so they're not doing the damage you need necessarily to use them consistently. You're gonna have to take it case by case basis with your troopers. But if you already use them, you've got them correctly in the position to where Stark goes first. You want your death trooper to be about, I put speed set on him and got him around 225 speed. So when they get that turn meter, death trooper goes next, because I want him throwing that grenade, and then it's off to the races. But you need them to be gear 12, but we've got other priorities. So just use them as they are. I'd keep Stark with where he's at, just in case you have a weak team in the back, like a really weak Ewok or some other team that you can just sit there and just once they get one kill, and if it's against a weak team, they're going to get that kill, then that's what they do.
Okay.
What were you saying, Zalo?
Well, I was saying, like, where they're at to for him, like, they do a lot of, like, call to assist mechanics, right? Like, with or without range trooper in there. And, I mean, like, the damage is so minuscule because it's an assist mechanic, and reduced damage because of the assist mechanics, right? So it's a fun team, but, like, it's a heavy investment, especially for, like, what you're looking for now, right?
Yeah, I did mine. I was in a position where I could take mine to where they could be effective, right? I mean, you see Mobile Gamer use them all the time too. He's just like me. He's like, oh, you put some weak crap out there, troopers, so it's like, I know they're gonna win. It's like, oh, weak bounty hunter team, troopers. Oh, first order sucks, troopers. So and they just wreck, and especially when they're gear 12, that call and assist style is right. But as they get higher gear, they start hitting really hard. So
especially with those bayonets.
Those bayonets, like, we'll just go through your defense, and we're going to hit you, and you're dead. And it's
a couple of 60 offensive mods or anything like that too just gives them that extra push.
Yeah, this is a good offensive team. Anything weak out there that they put down on defense on the back line, that you're going to trooper them. Or if they put it on the front line, you're like, why use a weak team here against these bounty hunters when I could just use my troopers? I do that all the time. If I see a weak bounty hunter team, they're getting troopered. I'm saving CLS for something else. I'm like,
save some quality.
Yeah. So my troopers are there to be that team. Like, if they put any weak sauce on the field, they're getting troopered, and I do it all the time, and they wreck. I mean, they absolutely wreck, and I get 60 banners out of it because you get all that health protection back, and then everything resets, and they get the turn meter. It's just a beautiful thing. But they have to be gear 12 really to be super effective. So it's something maybe you can work down the line, but you can still use your gear 11 troopers. I'd say for any weak teams that are front or any weak teams in the back line, just use them instead of one of your other teams. Make sense?
Oh, yes,
yeah.
Sir.
Like, mine are all gear 11 too. Like, and I use them occasionally. You know what I mean? Occasionally. So.
Yeah, mine are gear 12, and I love them to death.
Yeah, see?
I do evil shit with those troopers, man. I'm like, so. Absolutely.
Yeah, the trooper team's one of them I love, but
they have to be higher gear.
But like, it's hard for me to gear them to 12.
Not right now.
My clones, even, heck, I don't even have most of them at gear 11.
No, you got other priorities, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, and that's the thing about those is, like, you already know what the troopers are required for and the purpose of them, and unless they, pull this, Galactic Legends crap with, like, Luke and Vader down the road, then, they'll be like, oh, relics every your troopers or something, you know what I mean? Like,
let's not think about that. Oh, Jesus. God. That's a horrifying thought. Thanks, Xylo, for your...
You're welcome.
Dumbass. All right, any other
It's like I
questions,
just
my
twisted
friend?
my own arm.
Yeah, shut up. Any other questions, my friend?
Nah, man, y'all been great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So we got asked earlier, how do you get a roster review from RSG? It's simple. If you would like a roster review from RSG, all you need to do is send your GG page, like our good friend Zombie did here, from Dark Lords Blue Squadron 701st. Shout out to your guild again. But send your GG page with a little bit about what you want us to look at to Finity in our Discord, FINITY. And give him a day or two to respond. He'll respond. He may respond right away, but just give him some time. He's a busy guy. He'll throw you in the queue. And it's about a week to 10 days, and then you'll be in the queue. When your time comes around, he'll get with you again, see if everything's still what you want us to look at, and then he'll set a date and time for you so you can at least know what day it is. So if you can't be here to watch it live or be in the Zoom chat like Zombie, or the Zoom call, or be in the chat to ask questions, you at least know where it is when it is. So you can go back and watch it. And then with any time we do a roster review for anybody, you're more than welcome to ask us questions. You can message us directly, and we'll answer any questions you might have about the roster review. It's just what we do. You don't have to pay anything for it. They're all free. The only thing is, if you want it done sooner than later, you can become a Patreon sponsor of green level or higher. If you do become a green Patreon of green level or higher, and you want your roster review done sooner rather than later, when you do message Finn, let him know that you are a green Patreon. He'll confirm that, and then he will get you to the front of the line, and we'll do yours ASAP. And that's the way that kind of works. So with that, Zombie, thank you again for letting us look at your roster. If you have any questions, just hit us up, brother. You know where to reach us, and we will get you squared away. All right, Finn, are you scooping up questions right now? No, you weren't, were you?
Sure.
You weren't doing questions where I'll do it, Finn, because you're real close.
Yeah, we got question from Revenator about Eternal Twin.
Yeah, good try.
You didn't even look to figure that out.
Didn't even look. Just took a random stab in the dark. He's not even trying.
That was the first question. Revenator,
Yeah.
did you get enough Eternal Twins questions last night?
I know it is. That's why it's like I already answered.
See?
But I already answered it.
Yeah, I know, but I saw it in the chat. See? It's science.
Can you do the questions, or do you want me to do them?
I can try. Let's see if I can make these questions up. Okay. Let's make up a question by Vormax.
No, it's not a.
So, question: do you think we will have a new meta before anyone could farm GA? I'm assuming GL, Galactic Legend Kylo and Rey, or for the meta, or will the meta remain the same from now until December 2020, and that's when most Krakens will have the new shinies?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Free to play are going to have to decide if they're really going to want to focus. If they have top focused rosters, they have to go after Kylo and Rey. They're not left in much of an opportunity or choice. If they have a lot of relics and they're top 80 characters, and they want to stay competitive in squad arena, they don't have much of a choice. Other free to play don't have to worry about it.
Well, in my opinion too, like just throwing my 2 cents in all of it is like the 2 capital ships, right? Those are the killers. Those, like, because mathematically, if you buy them, even if you buy them, they're $300 individually to get them maxed out, right? So it's like if you farm them
Depending on the time
casually-
frame. Yes.
Yeah, and then casually, it's going to take some months for both of them, and then you're going to have to refresh one or the other, and you're not going to be able to keep up with refreshing both of them. You know what I mean? Or be able to do your refreshes and do your dailies, or whatever you're refreshing on the regular, right?
We calculated it out the other day. How much was it, Ranger? I think it was like 30,000 crystals or something in order to get the Radis to 7-star, which is definitely
from the pack in the
doable.
store, right?
From the refresh of the node, right? The next time the event comes, you can refresh it up to like 20 times or something like that.
Oh,
okay. And then you can buy the packs for the rest of it. So really, it's 30,000 crystals, and a lot of free-to-play already have, like the really competitive ones again. If they're getting first in Arena and first in Fleet, they're getting about 1,000 a day between Galactic War, first in Arena, first in Fleet, and then whatever RNG-based fleets you get, or crystals you get
people
from the
hoarding
dailies.
up that amount and then some, yeah.
Yep, and then a lot of them already have a bunch hoarded up, and I give credit to those free-to-play players. There's a lot of very competitive ones that have like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of crystals just saved up because they just haven't seen a need to spend it. This is going to be one that they might want to spend on. So they can pretty much get the Radis and the Finalizer pretty quick if they wanted to, assuming again that they had the stash. So it's gonna come down to gear, I think, more so than anything else, especially for the competitive free to play that are getting high, hoarding, kind of like what this game has been. And it's gonna be difficult for them moving forward, because those free-to-play have been doing really well so far as a result of focusing on the high-end part of their roster. And now, having that high-end roster is actually going to hurt them long-term if they don't get Ray and Kylo.
Yeah, so, it's like, what's the better investment right now? I mean, like, honestly, if you're free-to-play, it doesn't make any sense to spend on these two characters, obviously, but, like, you can do it free-to-play, and, you know, if you're getting first in both arenas, it sounds like, you know, you can it sounds like it makes me feel a lot more comfortable using my arena payouts to farm the Finalizer, because I want Kylo, obviously. But I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, if I don't get it right away, that's fine. But it seems like it's going to be more manageable within a couple of months as opposed to like 6 months for Kylo, right? Depends
how much you want to spend for the capital ships. You're right. It depends on how many crystals you want to spend. If you're working on a particular character, then you do want to.
And you always don't have access to the blueprints. Yeah, you don't always have.
You have to wait for the event to come back.
Yes, you'll have to wait at least I mean, probably for like players like me and Ranger, it'll be like 2 to 3 months just for the capital ships. You know what I mean?
Stupid.
If you spend all of your crystals on it, yeah. But then you're also going to have to worry about the gear and all that. Like, there's a lot of grind aspects to this. So
yeah, it's like grind the gear and the relics now, and then hoard for the ships. You know what I mean?
That's but I think Galactic, Rey, and Kylo are probably going to be the meta for a while. And I don't know if necessarily to December, right? But I can easily see this as at least a 6-month meta. But meta is kind of an interesting term, right? Because I think there's only going to be so many people that get it, but it's going to be so dominant at the top that it's going to be there. So
right, and like how many people are you going to see it on your shard, right?
Exactly. But the ones that have it are going to be able to stay probably up at the top for whenever they want. And unless you have a very friendly arena shard, you might get hurt. Otherwise, they might be able to drop or change teams.
Right. Well, and that's another reason why I'm going for Kylo instead of Rey, is because like everybody's going to go for the light side GOTB aspect for Rey. And I mean, like maybe Kylo will be that counteractive, or
you should wait.
First
you
order
shouldn't go for either. You don't know what they are yet, Xylo. Why are you putting your eggs in a basket?
I want first order. So I'm doing first.
If you wanted first order, that's fine. If you're doing it for arena and hoping that Kylo is going to counter Rey, you're better off waiting to make sure. Otherwise, you're just wasting all your resources.
Well, even like look at all the content creators in general. You know, everybody's like, oh, well, Rey for
what, the ones that are saying the game is dead. Well, those content creators.
I'm just saying in general, not all the big wigs. I don't always worry about just those guys. I'm talking about like everybody in general is saying, well, go for Rey for light side GOTB, right? And I mean,
why would you go for Rey for light side GOTB? You can't even get it max star based on the math.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like anyone that's saying to go for one or the other is not doing it with any piece of information that is out in the game. We know nothing about either of the kits, and to do it for light side GOTB is ridiculous right now because we've seen what the difficulty level is, and mathematically you can't even attain maximum stars. So what is the purpose? We haven't seen the kid unless you're in a top end TI guild or MA guild where you are at like 31, 32 stars and you're trying to push for 33 stars and you think you can get it without needing Kylo, that may be a reason to focus on light side GOTB. Anyone advising anyone outside of those like top 2-3 guilds to go for it because of light side GOTB is completely doing it for wrong reasons.
Yes,
you do not do anything because of light side GOTB.
Yeah, well, I'm saying the cost of value, right? Like cost of value.
You really think getting a Rey is going to make that much of a difference in your guild?
Yes.
I mean, honestly, in light side GOTB, how much extra is it going to give you? 1 wave, 2 waves?
Well, for like MC3, yeah, it's important. I mean, like you gotta aim for something, right? You gotta aim for.
You have to aim for something, but I don't know about your guild, but I would imagine you're probably better off aiming to make sure you stay higher in arena than light side GOTB.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like again, that reverts back to like the arena shards too. Like that's what those are for. And I mean, like I have a pretty fair shard. Like I don't have the fastest mods, but I can get the first and. I have the flex counters, you know what I mean? And like, there's going to be counters for both those teams. Yeah, I agree. And it's going to take time, just like, you know, Malik and Gas, it took time for those counters to pop up, and then it'll take time for the counters for both Rey and Kylo to pop up. But I'm just saying I'm going for Kylo for the reasons that I want it. And then the reasoning behind why majority of players are going the opposite way, right?
Yeah, for me, it's just that I'm going for one of them. I can only do one of them, and Ray just makes more sense. For light side GOTB, I like to get us more stars and stuff because I'm going to get.
But I think you're saying, so to your credit, Ranger, you're saying something and doing differently, right? And you're saying so knowingly. Like when people ask us, we tell them to hoard.
Oh yeah, I'm still hoarding. I haven't relic, but 2 characters. I'm hoarding for it, but I mean, I'm waiting.
But you're kind of decided on Ray, which is perfectly fine. But if somebody asks us, what should I work on? The answer is wait.
Yeah, just
because
wait.
We know nothing about the kits.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, but if you're like a player like me or Ranger, and at the point where you're like, I want to go for one or the other, regardless whether I can spend a couple bucks or go completely free to play and wait a few months, or we're not gonna. I don't imagine you're gonna run into the same players in like Grand Arena if you have one or the other with both, but you're gonna run into them in TW with the guild that we're in, right? Like we're gonna see some of these on TW. So we need to do it to stay competitive for that guild aspect.
Yeah, but how do you know that one is better than the other? Is the whole thing, right? Even in TW, that's why it's all just. As long as you have the resources, it takes like 5 seconds to apply the resources onto your characters and gear them up. And all you're doing in the meantime is boosting your GP on characters like Phasma that you're not using, and you're boosting your GP on a character like Resistance Pilot. Like, what is the hurry? I don't understand the hurry.
There's not a hurry. I'm not.
Resistance is still doing its thing.
I think there's a way to go about this. So for me, I'm hoarding the material because I want to see what are the other 3 characters going to be, and are there going to be ships, and what's going to be the final thing. If Raditz comes into the picture, then I'll be like, well, it's been fun.
It's going to.
Raditz and Finalizer are both going to be in there.
Yeah, if they are, then I already said I'm done. So I mean,
and then that's another great thing too is like the First Order characters, Hux and the Sith Trooper, came out free to play farmable first, and the capital ships coming out second. So we already have like an idea of how to farm the Finalizer.
But if you look at
it's perfect.
If you look at my roster, all the characters are just sitting there. I'm just slowly working on getting the pieces to where when I'm ready to make that move, I'll be done. Now I've decided on Ray first, but if I need to, I can switch because I've already got Kylo Relic 1.
Yeah,
and
you have good First Order, right?
And you worked on the useful Resistance characters, right? The ones that you already have a useful right now.
But I'm not gonna.
And the prerequisites.
If you're going to do it, just wait before you start relicking anything. Is what I would say. Finn's right on that because we still don't have all the information.
We don't even have the kit.
Yeah,
we don't even know what they're gonna do.
And all the prerequisites. Yeah, like
so
I was going for the prerequisites. Like as soon as they let out the first round, okay, let's relic crew, and then the list kind of fell from there.
So
it is what it is.
And I'm still wondering what they're going to do with First Order because they just don't have enough characters. They're going to have to do all characters. There's
all
no
the characters, the capital ship, and the ships. There's the 2 TIE Fighter pilots,
that they could do it.
And there's the 2 Kylo ships.
Yeah, I can't see them doing it any other way because there's only 9 total with the 2 new characters.
We only need the 4 ships though. You got the capital ship. And the 2 Kylo ships and the 2 TIE Fighter.
There's 4 sort of ships.
The ships are probably going to be there, right? We're probably going to need 3 ships in the capital ship as the last phase of this, where they have like the 4 gap or whatever. The 4 things are probably going to be the capital ships plus 3 of the ships related to the characters. Yeah. There is something interesting though. Don't forget that the Rey and Kylo are not just synergizing with Resistance and First Order, right? They said that it's actually synergizing with light side and dark side. So
like
potentially there are some other light side characters or dark side characters that are going to be required for this in some way, shape, or form. I mean, we saw with the Radis, right? We needed Boss. We needed Eben. We needed the Eben Hawk.
Oh, Hawthorne, I'm not delusional. I'm not delusional at all about what CG's going to say. Hold on.
New capital ships. 2 new characters.
Hawthorne, it's not that I'm delusional. I'm just saying there's a breaking point for all of us. If they pull some shit like that, they can lick my balls.
We've had this was the discussion we had.
And I'll go play something else because that's stupid. But again, CG's stupid, and they do stupid shit all the time. So I mean,
me and Grande tried yesterday and actually pointed out that the cost for the Radis is actually less than the cost for like a character and stuff. But it's the way that they're doing it. And again, I think the underlying problem to all of this is not necessarily and Ranger can speak for himself, but my guess is that none of this would be a problem if there's actually content in the game.
Yeah, I'm not gonna keep.
It's just one character and ship, and
It's just-
ship, character, capital ship, money, which is
Oh, I'm
fine. They need
prepared
to make
for
their
it,
money,
yeah.
but there's no content. There's
no
nothing for
content,
us to do.
and
It's
I'm
the same
tired
stuff
of
over
doing.
and over
I'm
again.
tired of chasing the carrot. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of the shit that CG does, and they think they're all great and they're doing us a favor. They're not. So, and they've gone through this shit with them multiple times where they've done this, and I'm just like, okay, if that's how you really want to run your game and that's how you want to do it, then fine. I'll go do something else because this is getting ludicrous.
I still just hate the comment of we're not going to make it feel like a grind or a chase or anything like that, right? And then they instantly like put their foot in their own mouth.
But I think I don't actually
instantly.
think they. I honestly don't think they have. Well, it depends on what they do with the Radis and stuff, and that one may be an issue, right? If they do include ships and all of that, which they probably are. But the definition of things for players have changed. We have always considered, and we had those like
Right.
farm calculators, right? Which is always based on shards. And look at what they've done so far. It looks like we are going to have a reasonable amount of time for Sith Trooper, for Hux, for probably Veteran Poe, who I'm imagining is going to be released to free-to-play soon. Or I mean, Finn. And Resistance Poe is going to be a little bit after because he was released, 2 weeks after or something like that from Finn. So Poe may be getting it a little bit close. But they've actually given us pretty reasonable time in order to get these shards for these characters.
Yeah,
Plus,
like my Hux is almost 6 stars, and
Right.
Sith Trooper's almost 5. Yeah,
And
So-
then also the Rey and Kylo are not going to be something that we have to like farm immediately or have to wait 3 months, right? It's going to be available forever. Like they're adding it to the journey guide, so whenever you complete it, you can just go straight and get it. Like we don't have that time limit, which is really what caused the panic farm. So when we gave the original definition of a panic farm, being that it was shards, this actually does help with that. Now the problem is they created another issue with the relics.
Yes, that's
Right,
a
the
whole
introduction of a
nother
relics
monster.
caused a whole host of problems. The first of which was it was released way too soon to Gear 13, and nobody's roster, unless they spent a lot, was able to keep up with their amount of characters they have versus the relics that are needed for some of these events, and that's the underlying problem. And so we are now looking at the gear part as the grind, but they look at it from the panic farm of the shards, right? So they feel like they solved that problem, and they have. But they've introduced another problem for players in the meantime
Right.
that is probably actually worse than the shard farm that was there before. Like this gear thing, I think is actually worse than the shard panic that we had before. So, I mean, they are doing stuff. It's just they don't. It's one of those things, like and Ranger will probably appreciate this. It's like in Dungeons and Dragons, when you ask a wish of a genie. If you don't word it exactly the way it is, somehow it's going to be manipulated into having like your wish granted, but in like the worst possible way, right? And for those of you that watch the like Rick and Morty and stuff, right? It's like the episode with the devil that's selling all the stuff. So he has like the item that makes you irresistible to women, but it also makes you impotent. It's like, God, this is like the worst thing ever. Like that's effectively what CG does. It's like, oh, okay, so you have a problem with shards. Okay, we're gonna make it so you guys can get shards easier. But here's a whole gear grind. It's like, damn it, this is worse than it was
Well,
before.
take the gear aspect out of that, right? Like you have to farm 2 new characters for each side, right? 2 new capital ships, which are the first ever pay-to-play capital ships, right before the events come out.
They're not the
relics,
first ever.
and then
They're not the
relics.
first ever.
Yeah.
I mean, like the events.
Executrix
yes.
and Endurance and Home One were all
But those
pretty
were-
much released in the exact same way as these 2 ships were.
Right, but they
yes
were
and
required
no. Like
for-
the first 3 ships came out when ships came out, and then Tarkin or Thrawn was a legendary event. These 2, you got to buy them out of by packs and by the packs from the Crystal.
You don't
Shards,
have
know
to.
what I mean, right?
You
Well, if
could
want
have
them
bought
faster,
Endurance
yeah.
and Executrix
If you
and
don't want
stuff.
to farm them for a year, yeah, right.
But that was
You know
the same
what
thing
I'm
with
saying? Like,
Executrix and Home One and Endurance.
yes and no, right? Like they picked up the pace as ships was introduced, and they didn't do anything with ships for like 2 years. Like you
The
had
rate
those
of
ships
the
up to
fleet
6 or 7
masteries?
stars if you played regularly.
The rate of the
Almost
fleet
15
masteries did not come any quicker. In fact,
They-
even to this day, it's still like once a month that we get the events.
Well, they cycle one at a time, and then you had the last few months last year where they ran all 3 of them multiple times, right? You know what I mean?
That was a special for the holidays, yes.
Right.
But I mean,
And they've done that
normally
before
it's
in the
just
past,
once a
too,
month.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
right.
it's pretty much the same. There isn't that much. I think it's because it was so long ago that people forget. But the Home 1 and Endurance and Executrix, I think the only difference was we had a bunch of prereqs to it that got you up to 6-star instead of 4-star.
Right.
That was the main difference. But the release mechanic is pretty much exactly the same. And so we do need to farm an extra 150 shards, which makes it so that you do need like an added year or so compared to the Home 1 and Endurance. But Home 1 and Endurance and Executrix were pretty much the same as it was. Like, it was a year that you needed, or 10 months it was, that you needed to do the endurance and stuff in order to get it.
They didn't force you to buy those 3 ships. They're not forcing you to buy these 2 new ones either, but if you want Rey and Kylo or one or the other, you have to go and invest some crystals into those, regardless whether you're hoarding or spending. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that's the way everything is.
Which is fine, and I'm not...
But again...
that's fine. If that's how they want to do it, it's fine. It's just, you reach a point where you're just tired of this shit.
Yeah. You're like, okay, I'll kick my feet up and I'll grind them. I'll grind them like I used to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, and I don't feel like just dicking around with it. Just supporting a game that just has its head up its ass. I'm sorry. You know, I mean, they keep making these decisions. Gas was a dumpster fire. The Relics was a dumpster fire. Mods 2.0 was a dumpster fire. You know, they've done this shit in the past where it was panic farm so they can make money, which is fine. That's how you want to do it, fine. But you know, I mean, the amount of money people have spent in this game, which is fine. It's their money. They can do what they want. I just hear some of these totals. Like, when I was listening to Cubs, I'm like, $40,000 in this game. I'm like, this game is not worth someone spending $4,000. For them, it is. In my view, it's like, that's a lot of money, man, for a
I could do a lot with 40K,
yeah, you know, just, you know, and God bless them. They got the income to do it. So, hey, you spend what you want to spend. If it brings you enjoyment, like I said, they do. I'm all for them having something that they do as a hobby. It's something that brings them joy. Great. For me, it's not that people spend money. It's the fact that how CG tries to get money out of people, and then the nonsense they try to do. They can't even... They're too goddamn lazy to even fix bugs like gas. Yet you want me to invest time and energy into this goddamn game. You can't even fix the gas bug because you're too lazy and incompetent to do it. Yet
that's the issue. It's not that they find ways to get money.
Yeah.
It's that they don't do it. Doesn't seem like they do anything with it. Right, we're getting reskins. We're getting just constant release of characters with really nothing new to show. I mean,
Sage, you can keep saying what you're saying.
They don't fix bugs.
You're completely wrong, man. If you want to chase the rabbit and chase the carrot, I mean, I've been playing this game since launch, and I've seen them do this shit over and over again. Shit's broke.
They ain't gonna get our money no more. Yeah,
you know, I'm not gonna pay them, but then you reach a point of saturation where you're like, okay, now you can view it however you want, Sage, and that's fine, and I respect that. But you're also gonna respect my viewpoint on it, that I think they're fucking everyone. So it's just the way it is. And they're taking advantage of people. And they're taking advantage of forcing people to do shit. And they do it on purpose. And if you think they're not, then you do not know the manipulation that they use. They even have psychologists come in here and look at the buying patterns and how you can force people to really want to buy.
And how it feels like you're just trying to take the money, right? You know what I mean? Like, but and then I'll forget. Gas
I don't like people being taken advantage of, and it pisses me off. And if I come across as terse about it, it's just because I don't want the people that I care about in this community getting hosed by a company that shows no incentive whatsoever to fix the basic stuff of this game, but then yet put out a thing like Galactic Legends where you have to invest. Fine, relics, fine. And then you want to do tickets, stupid, but okay, fine. And then just keep moving the goalposts. And then in between is this big giant patch of scorched earth that we're left with no content. You know, it's a collection game, and we're doing the same shit with our collections that we've been doing since last year.
And I bet they'll monetize those tickets somehow too. I bet they'll monetize those.
They may, but even if they do, right? I think ultimately the problem is I don't think people have a problem with CG trying to make money or trying to make more money. The problem is that they're trying to make more money and they're not delivering anything as a result of the money that's being given, right? The problem is the community has been giving them so much money. They're trying to make more money, which is all fine. They're a business. That's what they're supposed to do. They're trying to make more money. They're trying to keep themselves going. You never know how long this game is going to go, so you have to try and maximize it, right? But the problem is they don't give us anything for it. Like, it literally feels like our game has been stale, right? We've been doing reskins of TB and TW. They're trying to distract us with GAC, and the only innovative thing they're doing is adding it 5v5 and 5v5 with Fleet and 3v3 and hoping that each month... Exactly, and they're just hoping that each month of those is enough to distract you so you don't pay attention to the fact that they're not giving us anything. Then bugs come into the game, and they just be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it's not really changing too much, so we're just going to leave it. And I just lost the CLS team against Gas because he counterattacked before winning into cover and gave a whole bunch of damage to my CLS that completely screwed me once he went into cover, right? So for them to say that there isn't a competitive change or anything like that, they're stupid. And so their laziness and their stupidity, along with the fact that they're trying to make money, is the problem. It's not just the making of the money, right? So the question is, when will people stop paying CG for basically giving you nothing in return?
For your investment.
Like, literally, they're not giving you anything in this game that's really worth it now. I mean, you're getting reskins of things over and over again.
New characters and ships are not new content. It's right. That's absolutely right, Sedge.
It's new money making for them, and if people are willing to continue paying them, and I'm not trying to tell anybody how to spend their money, right? If you enjoy this game, it's perfectly fine. But if you continue to pay them for characters and ships without having any content to go behind it, there is zero incentive for them to actually make any change. And that's what we're seeing in this game right now, is that we're not getting anything new.
They're not fixing the shit that's broke.
Exactly. But they're giving us new characters and stuff and letting people... They're basically feeding on PvP. That's what this game has become. And this happens in every PvP game, is that ultimately everyone is paying in order to stay competitive. And when we were talking about tournaments yesterday, I want to say it was... I saw Kazekage Too Easy in here, and I want to say it was Kazekage's question. About tournaments and whether we should go back. Effectively, that's what they have done. They have snuck in tournaments into this game by creating power creep characters that you have to invest in, otherwise you will not be able to stay at the top of it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just what they're doing. They increase the divide of pay to play and free to play. It always happens in a game as it was, as it goes longer.
I could easily not, the thing is, and I'm in a unique position as well. As a content creator, I want to have as much of the new stuff out there for you guys that I can get out there so you guys can see it and we can talk about it and stuff. That's why I kind of went through the fiasco that was Gas. And why I was so pissed off when I found out Get One was a part of it, because, I'm trying. And
then it came back in 2 months.
Jesus Christ, that was even worse. And it's just that kind of shit on top of that. If you want to keep moving the goalposts, fine. The other thing that I have a problem with is that they're moving the goalposts, and you're leaving free to play in the dust. Now, we've always said that pay to play should have an advantage in this game. There's no argument about that. But when you have nothing in between where the pay to play are and the other people are in the world of Star Wars.
Middle spenders are 100% screwed.
Yes.
Yeah, they do not care about $20, $30, $40, $100 spenders a month. They do not care about you.
Yeah. Well, think about it this way too. Like, you know what I mean? Those packs that you bought for the Old Republic characters when they came out, it felt right because it was something to aim for and go for Revan, and it was the gear and you know what I mean? There were no relics or anything like that. And then Gas, Revan, you know what I mean? Malik, all these new things come around these next few years. So now we're at a point where, like, okay, the game's going to die. We're not spending money anymore, and we're hoarding everything free to play. At what point do you draw the line at hoarding, too? Because what if you hoard forever and then the game's dead? What's the point of hoarding all that gear? You know what I mean? What's the point of hoarding?
You have to be smart about hoarding. You hoard to get the materials to make a move on characters.
I'm just saying long-term, not anytime soon. I'm just saying long-term. Right? Not because, like, me and you do it every day, right? We hoard certain pieces of gear and resources every day because we have a long-term plan for them. But, like, I'm saying, like, the next couple of years down the road, like, what if players are massively hoarding and then it makes you feel like all that hoarding was a waste, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just thinking out loud. You know what I mean?
Well, you don't have a choice. If you want to be competitive, you have to hoard. That's the way it is in this game.
Yeah,
right. Certain things, and you have to hyper-focus
about what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So, and I've spent a good amount of money in this game.
Same, yeah.
And so it just, you reach like, how much is too much, right? Like, I shouldn't have to keep spending tens of thousands in this game to be competitive. I mean, a competitive game should not have that kind of, for me, in my personal opinion, a game should not have this kind of money be invested to have a competitive advantage. I mean, the prices that
not a mobile game,
it's their game. They can charge whatever they want, but I think it's way excessive. And
for how much they deliver. I
Yes.
always want to add that as a caveat,
agreed.
right?
Well, yeah, for what
It's
they
a lot
deliver.
for how much they deliver, and they've been delivering us nothing is the problem.
There
Right, if
shouldn't
we
be
felt
as
like
many
they kept-
bugs. Yeah.
I mean, can you just imagine like every let's just suppose we change the scenario a little bit, right? And every 3 months they release a new raid for your guild to go into, and they time it out so that every about 2 months or so it takes you to beat that, and then you start accumulating gear pieces for your character, right? And then after that they release a new raid, which is a little bit harder. You require a lot of your main characters to have the gear that you get from the first level tier, right? And then you go to your next raid, and then you work on that, right? And there's a bunch of monsters in Star Wars that you could fight. But you could keep going through each of those as different raids, just kind of in the same concept as the MMO concept that they were talking about before.
Yeah.
They could have created a progression system. If every 3, 4, even I'll even say 6 months, if every 6 months we got a new raid that we knew we're working towards, we would be like, yeah, they're making a bunch of money, but we can expect something in 6 months.
Yeah.
We don't have that. Right now, we're like, oh, what's the next new content? Galactic Legend, Rey, and Kylo. But what are you going to be using them for? Arena. Is that new? No. How long has that been around? Since the beginning of the game? Okay. What else is coming to the game? Artwork? Like that's where we are. Like that's all they've told us so far. We have nothing about the roadmap for this game, and they expect people to invest. And I don't understand why people keep investing. This is why initially and again, everyone kind of goes at their own pace.
How the bar keeps going up. Yeah.
This is why I stopped investing money into this game like 5-6 months into it, because it was obvious this is the way that they're going. Their release of content was not good. Their management of the system was not good. And so why would I keep investing in this game? And at least so far, I mean, it's kind of showing it, right? So if you guys want change, again, there's only one way to do anything, and that's just stop your wallet. But it's up to you if you want to do that or not. But that's really the only way to make any kind of difference. Because if you keep making money, then they're going to keep
point. I remember playing World of Warcraft, and the thing and the reason why Blizzard is so goddamn good about what the games they do, and I've never played a Blizzard game where I'm like, well, this sucks. But the progression in World of Warcraft, I just remember like each time an expansion came out, you had that initial raid, and then people would go in and start doing it, and then start farming the gear. Then they would release the next raid for that expansion, right? And then the next zone in the raid would come out until you got to the end of it, and then they were already for the next expansion to come out. But that lasts like a year or two, and you're like, or a couple years, and you're just like, I just remember them being so good about that. And the other thing that they were so good about, if there were bugs, they were on top of that shit. And they had moderators in the game. Like if you were doing a raid, like, and you got stuck, you can just message them, and they had people that they hired to do this, and they'd come in like, oh, I see you're stuck on the wall. Well, let me just get you all out there, and I see that you killed, but you didn't get loot. Here you go. And they were so good with their customer service about that stuff, and I just wish CG would just take a tiny bit of that. I mean, here's the thing: if they were doing something every 4 to 6 months, like Finn just said, like we start a raid. Takes 2 months to clear, and then 2 months more to farm, and then by the 5th or 6th month, they're like, here comes the new raid. You're like, yes, right? Then you're starting to see something that you can build off of, and you can start doing stuff. And, God.
All right, we beat this to a dead horse, and I'll address the question that Qui-Gon Jinn just put in here, and then we'll move on to the next question. But he said, true, but once enough people stop paying, will they change the game or just close it down? They will change the game if it affects money. We have seen this on a few occasions. They have stockholders saying it too. They ain't gonna hear sometimes, that shit. Exactly, and sometimes it doesn't even have to be money.
Nope.
One of the most effective things that happened, and this was a long time ago, kind of when the game was early, which we can still kind of do, is there was, I can't remember what it was. I think it might have been mods. I think it was when mods first was released and the stats were so broken, right, that everyone went into the Apple store and downvoted it. It went from like a 4.5 or 4.6 down to about 2 stars within a week. It was that quick that they pulled back mods, which they were confident about, pulled it back and nerfed it and released what we first got is now considered mods 1.0. But you should have seen how broken, for those of you that may be a little bit newer, you may not have seen it, but when mods was first released, it was the most broken thing in the game. Like literally nobody could beat anybody on defense because their stats were so ridiculous. You had zero chance of beating them on defense. Like everyone that was in arena was stuck in their spot. I'm so glad I made it into the top 5 before that because I was in there for like 4 days without having to do an attack.
Or like some of those unicorn triple offense mods, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Oh my, those are still out there in the game. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
So
offense, flat offense, and
yeah, Graham, we will do GAC.
On.
Have fun this Thursday, Graham. It's Thus Day. Yeah. It is Thus Day.
It's Thus Day. Haha. Sorry.
It is Thus Day. but yeah, so they will respond to those kind of things. Because if there is a dip, right? Here is the one thing that has players at an advantage. And I know you guys are saying like $1 billion and all of that, right? The money goes to CG. CG has a bunch of people that they are basically dividing the money to, who they're paying to. They have the Star Wars franchise, they have Lucas, they have EA, and they have Disney, right? That's at least 4 that we know of, and there's probably some other ones that are kind of working in the back end for some of this that have a stake in this game. If they suddenly see a drop of even about like 50% of their revenue coming in, and CG is trying to work on another game, and as we pretty much suspect, they're funneling their money from Galaxy of Heroes into whatever the new game is, that new game is dead. Their owners, their handlers basically at CG are not happy. You will see change, guaranteed. Guaranteed you will see change.
Yeah, like the main intent is to change the spending bar, right? Mm-hmm. And then that makes it more accessible for players like me and Ranger who don't mind spending, microtransactions to chip away at bigger events as opposed to spending hundreds of dollars. You know what I mean? Right?
Yep. So, I mean, there are options here, but the whales have tried a boycott before, but all it takes is for one person to break the boycott, get rank 1 in arena, somebody not to beat it, and then you start a chain, right? And that's what always happens. So it's difficult to do it. I'm not saying that it's the easiest thing, but that's really the only way to do it. And people need to have resolve if they're going to do it and take a hit for a little while. But not everyone wants to. So yeah, that's what it is. Next question. So let's go to the questions here. We'll start running through these so we can get to the GAC. Dobby, question. Struggling with modding lately. What is the better option, using Grand Ivory or paying for a remod? None. Figure out the modding yourself, in all honesty. Because otherwise, every time you have an issue, you have to go back to another resource that isn't as accurate. The modding services are good.
Yeah, for me, when I do a modding service, and I haven't really been advertising it, and I still do one here and there. When I do it, I have you on the Zoom call because I'm teaching you at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I teach you why I'm doing the modding that I do, what you need to work on, and why, and explaining when we're going through mods. You can ask the people that I've done it for why this is a good mod and why this is a poop mod, and why you don't need to keep this.
Teach you how to fish.
Teach you how to fish so you can fish next time. I'm like, the only thing you need me for is if you get stuck and stuff like that. But then you learn and people really appreciate it. And I put you in a position to where you just have to maintain it and you know what you're looking for, and then you can go forth and do it. So there you go.
Yep. Yeah, so it's always better to do it yourself. In terms of the 2 resources you mentioned, right? The modding services are usually pretty good. And we may not necessarily always agree and stuff, but whether it's like Micaeus or whether it's Pimpo or whether it's Ranger, like whoever you go to for the modding services, they're usually pretty good. We might disagree on little things here and there, and sometimes you do want to focus on particular teams and mod them certain ways, but they're usually pretty good. Grand Ivory is better than nothing. It's a good way. It's a freer way for you to do your modding and get an idea about what mods to put where, but I tend to disagree a lot more with that. But it is a lot better than doing the basic auto modding in game. That thing is awful.
Well, and another thing I like to do is the mod meta report too. SWGOH.gg is like a Swiss Army knife, bro. Like it's your best friend. Like I'm telling you.
Go to the top 100 guilds if you're doing it. Don't do it in arena. Do the top 100 guilds and figure out what they're modding.
Yeah, because those are like the TIs and the Maws and the big money guilds that are actually consistently changing the modding too. So as your mods evolve, you can evolve with them. You know what I mean? Like it's really fun. I love it. You know?
Mm-hmm. Dobby, question, is the Electrum Conductor in the weekly shipments a good value? I don't have the Electrum Conductor. I was looking at it when you put this question. I don't have that one.
Well, what's the cost of value then, right? I mean, like, what are you spending on it, right?
What is the Electrum? Are you talking about the Electrum Conductor? You're talking about the one for crystals? No, I wouldn't bother with the crystal ones if you don't want to.
Nah.
Those are like really
I
expensive.
mean, it's better
you
than
could bet off
wasting
scribing
gear.
them.
But it's better than wasting gear. So if you need the gear, then it's a good value. But I wouldn't buy any of the relic mats or whatever for crystals, unless you're really in a pinch and you're trying to not waste gear and stuff. So in general, my answer would be no.
They call
It's
it
not
the
a
whale
bad
store
rate.
for a reason, right? It's called the whale store for a reason.
Yeah. It's not a bad rate in terms of crystals for the amount, but you can get the gear in order to do it. It just depends on how much you need the gear.
Plus, it'll happen naturally over time, like through raids, TW, etc. Right? Like you're gonna get those for free, and then you can focus farm them, and the shard shop helps for those resources too as well.
Darsai 1972 question: Finity, you did a great job last night. Any thoughts on when Banana Republic Finn and Indiana Poe will become farmable? I think Finn will be by the end of the week.
Yeah, end of the week, if not earliest, beginning of next week. They'll come.
And then Poe probably about 2 weeks after that, because that was basically their.
I think they're gonna release them at the same time, like they did Hux and Sith Trooper.
But didn't Hux and Sith Trooper come out at the same time?
No, there was like intervals, like days in between. Like that's why they both came out farmable at the same time. Like there was like the 2 or 3 day
Poe
gap
came
between.
like a couple of weeks afterwards, though.
Well, yeah, they did the farming or the release cadence difference for Finn and Poe,
right? Because they both came into the Chromium at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that they could probably release them at the same time, so people can start farming.
They might.
But Hux and Sith Trooper were a lot closer together, like days apart.
I mean, Hux and Sith Trooper, I know what I'm talking about. I'm dumb.
And our Wilson question, do you know if the whole season of Clone Wars will go up once or slow drip?
It's a slow drip.
Yeah, that's the Disney goes as Plus theme, right?
Which is
like
smart.
We saw that with Mandalore. Yeah, it gives you something to watch over time and keeps
Oh, no, that's not it.
No,
that has nothing to do with it. It's the fact that you have to maintain your subscription for at least 2 months. You can't pay for it to binge it in one day and then cancel it. Yeah. That's the thing. You're forced to pay for about 2 to 3 months with that service versus like a binge, which you can do in 1 month and catch up on. They just don't have enough.
They just don't have enough shows like that, like say Netflix or Prime, where you can.
They binge, and I love binging, but
I love binging.
It's just not the Disney model.
Yeah. I mean, like you always have a lot of content and stuff to watch, like movies and television, right? Like there's a Hulu, Netflix, and you know all these other torrents and everything like that, right? Yeah, Prime. But at the end of the day, it's nice to have something to look forward to a certain day of the week and be like,
I want it all.
I like the. I mean, like at first, I hated the way. At first I hated the way they did Mandalore, but then at the end of the day, I was like, okay, I can deal with this as long as they. Keep
I had to deal with it because I had no choice, but I hated it. I wanted to see it all at once and just soak up the goodness.
I don't know about you guys, but like the Marvel content looks really cool. Like I'm really excited for the WandaVision show. Like that looks awesome, bro.
There's some good stuff
Revenator. Question, now that the VIPs unlock the Eternal Twins lore video, when can we expect to see that completed?
It's going to take me a few days to get that done. So
yeah. And then I'll work on the video portion of it.
Right. I'm going to try to get done by this weekend. I'm actually going to try to get both lore videos done this weekend and then give it over to Finn so he can...
I'll see what I can do with those.
Yeah.
And then hopefully like another week on that.
Week or two.
Bells and whistles.
Deep Sea Kelso. Question, what do you think the best mod farming strategy is? Purchase from the mod store or mod battles?
Both. So here's how I kind of do it. So when I look at mods, and I'm maybe in a different spot than you, but I'm looking for gold mods. And I usually look for ones that are 3.9 million. That's because I'm saving up my fleet currency. It's a little bit harder to get than your normal credits once you get to a nice buffer, right? But I'm looking for anything offense right now. I'm being specific, not just any mod, but specifically mod like speed set with speed secondary 5, or an offensive set. And I'm looking for offense with speed secondary, but mainly protection and offense because I'm trying to do something for 5s. I'm very specific about which character I'm using it for and like that. The other thing too is when I do my energy, I pull mods in the first part of the day. Second part of the day, when I get that second round of energy, I slice. And I slice 1 or 2 mods every day. So I'm constantly slicing mods and doing mods and working on mods. And that's why I've got the mods that I do have, is because it's just a numbers game. You just have to constantly do it. It sucks. It's monotonous. It's boring. But I say discipline and do it. And then when I get those mods out of the store, 9 times out of 10, they don't hit. The time they do hit is like 15 to 18. But then that rare occasion you get that 20 plus speed mod, you're just so happy. You're just like, I won the lottery. Because that's a mod that can just open up your roster in so many different ways. You know, if you're a arena team, and then start filtering your mods down. And those mods that are 15 to 19 that hit, that whether you get slicing or not, are really good mods to use for your secondary teams. You're always going to have your best mods on there, but if you have enough of those that go on your secondary teams, that helps you tremendously in GAC. That's why my roster is so good in GAC. It's because they've got a lot of those mods that are like 15 to 19 sitting there. Like all my top teams, Gas, Revan, Jedi Revan, stuff like that, have those crazy good mods that are 20 plus speed. But like some of my other teams, like Stark and the Troopers, he doesn't have really that much craziness going on, but he has like those 15 to 18 speed mods where he's got 280 plus, almost 290 speed, and I'm like, Troopers, go in there and make something of yourself. So you just have to it's a constant struggle, but you just want to pound your head against the wall. I suffer through depression every day, but if you do it like that, you'll be fine.
Well, and then
Ranger,
there's also the warrior method too, right? Like, I mean, I preach that one a lot of times. I mean, like if you're having a hard time and you feel like it's, you know, being repetitive, like hoard the resources for a couple of days, and you know, when you feel like you have a good amount of mods to slice and roll, you know what I mean? Roll them in groups, you know what I mean? Because then that way, the ones that are duds, you know, aren't as depressing, right? Yeah, and then you get, like Ranger said, you might get a couple of those 20s or teens. You know, so, and then filling those through your roster. Like last night I was looking through some of my other role characters. You know, it's just filling up, making sure all your role characters have like other 10, 15 speed mods, etc., the right primary stats you're looking for, etc. So,
all right,
Ranger, do you want to set up the event in the meantime? And
okay.
then
yeah, I'll do that right now.
Then we can continue some of the questions over there. Who the Hut? Question for Gas. How many 40k ships are really needed? I currently have 6 ships.
That's fine.
And the min requirement is 5. Yeah, you should be fine.
Yeah,
the ship
the
one
ships
you
aren't
may
that bad.
require. Yeah, it might require some RNG and stuff, but it's still, yeah, you don't have to go too crazy.
like I saw most people get it, you know, content creator wise on the first run, and I got it myself on 2 runs. You know what I mean? Like, and at the end of the day, I've dumped a lot of resources into ships, but I wouldn't fluff your GP more for something until you get your hands on the event, right? You know.
All right. Matt Bailey question. I understand Snips is better, but you don't really need either. GK Relic 4 will get you through it, and you will need Shock T for the cam. May I suggest for the gas event, we start recommending Shock T as the second relic for phase 2 instead of Snips?
Snips hits hard, man. That's hard to. I mean, Shock T just. I mean,
Snips has a ship too. I mean, like he did.
I don't
say,
care about
regardless
that.
of the ship.
Yeah.
I mean, Shock T, the Shock T thing, like, there's plenty of players who have done it with max Relic 7 teams and still haven't beaten the Reek or any of the other harder light side GOTV missions yet. So I think like it's all about like the right modding strategy, and maxing the health, I believe, was the strategy for that mission.
Because when Padme
survivability,
Padme would be the third one I recommend, because Padme just makes her more survivable, right? The thing is, when you start getting those stacks on Ahsoka, unlike Shock T, she will start one-shotting stuff. That's what makes Ahsoka so nasty, little snips, when she starts
plus
getting
the
those
protection
stacks.
up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's just going to do some nasty stuff for you. And I saw a huge difference when I had snips in there going, I'm going to one-shot you, and then I'm going to one-shot you and remove your buffs. And she was just nasty. So if I had a choice...
she has... Sorry, go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, she's just... she's nasty. I mean, I see what you're saying about Shock T. I don't know. Finn,
they're both good. I mean, it just depends on which one you think you're going to make more use of afterwards.
True.
If you are at the point where you have everything for cam, then yeah, you're going to need Shock T, but you have to decide how much you're pushing for cam, because working on like your ARC Trooper, for example, is something, depending on where your roster is, may not be the easiest thing, right?
Well,
ARC Trooper
like,
still requires some time.
And then there's not as many counters to Padme as opposed to Shock T, right? Like you can beat Shock T with Padme all day. So I mean, like it's like, and like we mentioned earlier for the roster review, like putting Padme down on offense or defense for GAC is huge, and you can kind of make use of the other things with Shock T, or make like 2 4-man teams even, or depending on where your clones are, making a clone Shock T team and some leftover, you know, Galactic Republic characters in there. Like I've seen R2 on defense a lot, and like a Shock T or a Rex lead on defense. Those teams are annoying.
All right, what time?
Revenator.
What time I send this event for? I'll say 1:50.
You can set it. You can set it like you can. I mean, you can set it now. We can just stop this one and hop over directly to that.
We'll do. I'll set it for 1:50, so we give me a second to switch.
Revenator. Question, Ranger, why do you not have R2's combat analysis data? I'll be honest, I don't have it.
Yeah.
And good old Maurice may actually did I put it? Actually, no, I did put it recently, but good old Maurice may kill me for this. I don't even use R2 pretty much on teams anymore. Like, he's kind of on my clone team right now with the Rex lead, Fives, Echo, R2, and Barris team, which does well on defense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't really have a huge use for R2. I see like on the Alliance stream.
Flex, yeah.
He is, and he doesn't like have any like major purpose for me. And like good old Maurice always puts him at like number 1 on his list in the Alliance stream, and I'm just
or like he was one of the first characters for relics. Yeah, like he was like, oh, you should max R2 relic because he shares his stats and everything.
But
he's a great character.
He's good, but he doesn't have like in all the teams that he would be used for, right? I have somebody else that I would rather use. So for the Padme team, right? For me, it's Padme, Anakin, Ahsoka, Kenobi, and then for the 5th, I put Shaak Ti right now. Right. Then in 3PO goes on my CLS team, so I have CLS, Han, Chewie, 3PO, and then I put Old Ben if I need a 5th on that team.
Yeah.
Where am I putting R2? My Jedi Training Rey team. So my Jedi Training Rey is Jedi Training Rey, BB-8, and because I have to make use of it, is BB-8, and then Finn, Resistance Trooper, and then Rose Tico. So now I don't have a use for R2 on that team because I have a Relic 7 Rose. So it's like, where the hell am I using R2? Wow. I have no use for R2 anyway. And I'm telling you, Rose is actually not that bad because she gets some stuns off in key situations and between the dispels and stuff. Like, she's actually pretty fun. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but it's actually kind of fun.
What's your Resistance team again? Is regular Finn in there?
Yeah, regular Finn right now until I get Veteran.
I guess I can pop it on there. I mean, I've got the Zetas to do it.
Then that's where your R2 can go. If you're not going to put him with the Shaak Ti Galactic Republic team, you could do what is it? Man, I just had it in my head.
I am not replacing Finn on that Jedi Training Rey team. He's too good.
No, you could do a Finn lead with your leftover Resistance characters.
No, I am not doing a Finn lead. Finn lead sucks. If you face any team with a taunt, you are 100% screwed. Yeah, like, seriously, any team with a taunt, you're done.
And then the extra taunt from Poe is useless, yeah.
Yeah, it's Veteran Hero Finn. I'm calling him Vet Finn.
I see where you're coming from, and I do like that Shaak Ti team. Like, we were literally just talking about it before you mentioned you were using it. So, I mean, like, it's funny.
I'll get a few more Zetas, and then I'll maybe do R2-T2.
All right. Finn lead is not dead, but is very situational to any team that does not have a taunt.
All right, so we're going to keep the questions you guys put. What we're going to do is we're going to flip over and get to the GAC. I've got the event up, so we've got to stop and then reset and then restart the new one. So we're going to stream now. Make sure you give us a thumbs up on this stream. Subscribe if you haven't. Check out our Patreon, all that good stuff. So with that, we're going to call this one done. So on behalf of myself and the crew, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you in a couple minutes. The event is up, so you can just flip over to that, especially if you're a sub and sponsor. So we'll see you guys in a couple minutes. So be safe, and we'll see you then. Peace.